Good morning. This is Joe Mosit for SuccessProgress.com. Thanks for stopping by. It's our goal to provide relevant, meaningful content to our user community. And today we're going to profile The Right Words at the Right Time, written by Marlo Thomas and friends. This book is a collection of letters from over 100 people about a particular turning point in their lives. This is interesting because when you can leverage the collective know-how of really talented and successful people, then it's worth the time to read it. The proceeds from this book go to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Why is this important to me? Have you ever had a point in your life when somebody said something or did something to you and it punched you right square in the forehead? If that has happened before, then this book is worth your time to read. One thing that stands out is the human element across all the stories. The people in the book include high-powered actors, musicians, athletes, senators, and business people. There have been several points in my life when this has happened either through words or actions. When I was 14 years old, I attended the largest funeral I'd ever been to. The funeral had police escorts. My Uncle Bill had passed away at the ripe old age of 44. This man's actions spoke volumes. He did not have to say anything. People loved him because he made everyone around him bigger than himself. He was the type that would talk to the President of the United States the same way he would talk to the hot dog vendor on the beach. Here was a man of modest means who touched everybody who came in contact with him. My aunt, his wife, was shocked when I spoke at my mother's funeral and paralleled his actions with my mom's. She was shocked that I remembered him. This is 23 years later. Actions have meaning, and you never know who's watching. Tell me a fact and I'll learn. Tell me a truth and I'll believe. But tell me a story and it'll live in my heart forever. An Indian proverb. This book is packed with great stories, but for the sake of time, I'll profile 4 of them. For those of you that don't know, I'm a boxing fan. Muhammad Ali was the greatest of all time. If you ever seen any of his clips, then he'd be the first to tell you. What motivated him? One of his teachers told him, "You ain't never gonna be nothing." Negative words can do some wonderful things. Muhammad Ali was not only a great champion, but also a man of great belief and resolve. George C. Scott was not profiled in the book, but in our business we did some work on student records, and on his student record was a comment from a school counselor that basically said he was a below average person and wouldn't amount to anything significant. Unbelievable what negative motivation can turn into. Carly Simon stuttered as a kid. Her mother told her a life-changing 2-word statement that has benefited anyone familiar with Carly's work. She said, "Sing it." This helped her overcome her stuttering problem. Rudy Giuliani tells a story about a fireman who was killed. He attended the funeral and the fireman's sister was getting married shortly after this happened. The family was encouraging the mother to postpone the wedding. Rudy asked Mrs. Garumba, "Where do you get this strength, this focus?" She replied, "When terrible things happen, I try to concentrate on the good parts of life and celebrate them even more than I had before. Think about it. At this moment I have my son's death and dealing with my daughter's wedding. Life is a combination of great tragedy and great beauty." Mr. Giuliani ended up walking Mrs. Garumba's daughter down the aisle on September 16, 2001, just 5 days after the September 11th terrorist attack. This is a great life lesson. Paul Newman was a great and giving man. He tells a story in the book about attributing all his success to luck. His good friend told him that most people are lucky and don't have the brains to see it. If you go to newmanzone.com, here's what it says. Newman's Own was supposed to be a tiny boutique operation, parchment labels on elegant wine bottles of antique glass. We expected train wrecks along the way and got instead one astonishment followed by another astonishment followed by another. We flourished like weeds in the garden of Wishbone, like silver in the vaults of finance. A lot of the time we thought we were in first gear, we were really in reverse, but it didn't seem to make any difference. We anticipated sales of $1,200 a year and a loss despite our gambling winnings of $6,000. But in this 26 years we have earned over $300 million, which we've given to countless charities. How to account for this massive success? Pure luck? Transcendental meditation, Machiavellian manipulation, aerodynamics, high colonics. We haven't the slightest idea. The Right Words is a great collection of life lessons. Each one makes an impact. Here's one last story that's not in the book but is telling just the same. Sylvester Stallone was poor and on the street peddling the script for Rocky. He finally was offered $300,000 to sell it, but he wanted to play the part. They initially turned him down. Mind you, he was broke, but he knew he could play the part. The part was him. It got so bad that he sold his dog for a few dollars. Needless to say, he stuck with his gut instinct and the rest is history. If you've ever watched the first Rocky movie, the dog Budkiss is the dog he sold. He ended up finding the guy he sold it to and bought him back for $15,000 in the cameo in the movie. If you enjoyed the video, then please do not hesitate to pass it along, and if you want more detail, then click on the link and purchase Marlowe's book, The Right Words at the Right Time. Thanks for watching and have a great day.